What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez, and we are back today with another episode. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, a little early here, San Antonio. Let me turn this down a little bit, a little too loud. All right. And of course, today we're not going to have a news episode. We're going to have a little bit of a different episode. As you can tell by the title. It's about this time normally, with the All-Star voting, beginning, and that a couple weeks or about a month away, I think, a little over a month away. We get the All-Star game, so people are voting about their favorite players, their guys that they think are performing the best, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, that comes along with this time of year. You've got this guy's underrated, this guy got snubbed, and then of course there's the overrated, and of course the the favorite that people love to put on the overrated list is Bryce Harper. I've come to realize that, though I don't get why. The dude continuously performs year after year. But a lot of people go back to the same dialogue of, well, he's got no ring. Well, he's got no ring. He's been playing all these years, no ring. Does that make a player overrated? I don't think so, but apparently people have issues with that. Does it put a knock on his career? A little bit. But nonetheless, I found a list. Well, I didn't find this list. A buddy sent it to me 2 days ago, actually. I just don't get on Twitter ever, and it's on me. Though I've been trying to post a little bit more and be a little bit more active on X. X is weird. X is a very weird place at the moment. It's been weird since Musk bought it. So I'm just kind of like, I don't really know how I feel about it. But anyway, so he sent me this list of, it's actually some random website, just sportsnaut.com. Never heard of it. I'm not knocking them. I've never heard of this site. And they have a top 12 most overrated players in baseball right now. And he was like, what do you think about this? Well, I figured I was eventually going to talk about this. I've talked about some sleepers in the past, and I figured, honestly, I just did my all-star voting on Friday. I think some of the guys that I may have voted for are actually on this list. I haven't looked at it all the way. I've only looked at the first two, so it'll be kind of a real-time experiment here. So without further ado, I'll kind of give little brief highlights of because he has little blurbs underneath why he thinks this person is underrated, and I'll agree, disagree. Let's see what we got here. So the first one he has on the list is Luis Ariz for the Padres. Obviously, he was with Miami for a while, got traded a little bit earlier this year. Yes, he has an all-star selection and a Silver Slug Award winner. I don't know how you're overrated when you're an all-star selection, Silver Slugger Award winner, and a batting champion in the last 2 seasons. He is one of the best hitters in baseball. However, he's also one of the most overrated baseball players today. After posting a 383, 434, 471 slash line before the All-Star break in 2023, he owns a 313, 342.45 slash line and a .77 OPS. From July 2023 to May 2024, those aren't bad numbers, but by any means. But Ariz is also negatively defensively. Oh, wow. Negative 9.7 defensive rating, 80th in Major League Baseball over the last 3 seasons. This guy thinks that if you're going to be that bad defensively, you need to make up for it with elite run production, but that he doesn't match it offensively. Okay, so point, I get you there. A negative 9.7 ranked 80th in Major League Baseball is pretty damn bad. It's not very good. So obviously, an offensive powerhouse. But a defensive liability, I guess. And then he says that 78% of his hits were from in 2022 to 2023 were all singles, not even bringing that much offensively. Yeah, I can see your argument. But anyone who's batting, 383 a year, and then like right now, let's see what Luis Ariz is batting. I don't think he's that bad, honestly. And it's also funny that he's the first person, because when I made my video about Luis Ariz in that trade, a lot of people were commenting overrated. He's overrated. I hadn't dug super deep into this guy because, like I said, he was in Miami, and then what really brought him to a lot of people's, radar was the trade to San Diego, and San Diego making that, trying to, assemble some pieces. But this year so far, he's batting 325. Yeah, I can see. Okay, so you want him to hit for power, is what you're saying. You want him to be the power guy who can drive in runs and up that slugging percentage, all that kind of stuff. If that's the route that this guy is trying to take on the article, I get it, because right now he is batting 325, but he does not need to be categorized as one of the best hitters. Like, he can't be in the same boat as Judge. He can't be in the same boat as, Shohei in terms of power and hitting for power and slugging percentage, because he's got 1 home run, though he has 91 hits in 280 at bats, which is not awful. I mean, 325 is good. He's got 3 stolen bags, 751 OPS, a little bit lower. So I can see it. He's got a lot of hits with there. A lot of them look like they're probably singles, nothing, anything, too wild. So I hear your argument. Do I think he's overrated? I think that he belongs in a different realm of, he's kind of in this weird limbo that he does well, but apparently not enough to please certain people, or he's not a power hitter, though he's been definitely portrayed as a power hitter. And by looking at these stats, and then actually looking at his stat line, still a good ball player. I don't know if overrated is the right word. He's a hell of a ball player. He's a clutch guy. He's going to continue to play like this and put up hits, because the thing that makes you a valuable player is if you get on base and if you can score runs, which he does technically do both. So I'm a little split on that one. All right, now we got this is the only other one I knew. Forgot about it for a second. Vlad Guerrero Jr., first baseman, Toronto Blue Jays. This is another one that's been kind of, I've seen people with the rumblings on X and on Instagram, people talking about how they feel about Vlad, who had a really dismal first part of the season, very similar to Judge-ish, because Judge had a terrible start to the season and is now coming to his own. But Vlad was very flat for a little bit. Let's see what he says about Vlad. Once the highest rated prospect in baseball, Vlad Guerrero Jr. was viewed as a future face of MLB. He seemed to be on that trajectory early, leading the league in home runs and earning All-Star. First team in 2021 with a 1,002 OPS, 48 bombs, 111 RBIs, and 601 slugging percentage. Yeah, Guerrero's OPS plummeted to 818 in 2022, and over the last 2 seasons, he sported a 260, 343, 431 slash line with a 774 OPS with only 30 home runs and 736 at-bats. Now that is true. That I will agree with. He has from where he was in 2021 and really in the beginning part of 2022, he has not been anywhere near it. 260. He's had flashes of where he can show that he's still that guy, but not as consistent as he was in those All-Star years. And when he first broke into the league. Sadly, he only seems to be getting worse. Yeah, that is true. He has not gotten better. He's had flashes games here and there where he does some great things, but still not great. Let's see where he's at. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Okay. I don't want his dad. We know his dad's a fucking legend. I'm looking for his stats. Okay, let's see. Okay, so right now in the regular season, as of in 2024, he's got. Why did my light just turn off? Hold on, guys. Production props. I need a team to sit here and do this for me. I'm just kidding. Okay, there we go. All right, so 2024 regular season, 254 at bats, 287 batting average, and a 795 OPS, 378 OBP. Yeah, not that great. Let's look at his stat line. So broke into the league 2019, he batted 272. 2020, he batted 262. 2021, 311, which was the year. I mean, that was his year. 311, that 2021 year. Then down to 274, 264, 287. So not technically getting worse. But if you're going to look at average, yeah, he's kind of technically. But he's up to 287 today. Haven't been any games today, though. But he's 287 as of right now at 7:12 a.m. on Tuesday. He's batting 287, which is an improvement from his last 2 seasons. So is he not the same guy that we saw in 21? Listen, I'm all to believe that guys can have freak years. I mean, it happens. Guys they just have years. Look at Jake Arrieta, who had that magical year with the Cubs and then just seemingly fell off and never became the same guy again. I mean, you got a lot of guys do that. They have freak years where it's like, this is just I had a great year and I won't be able to really replicate that. Is that what we're looking at? And with Vlad in 2021, I don't know. But 287 is not bad. You're not a superstar. You're not like Judge. You're not Soto. You're not Shohei. You're not Betts. Like, you're just in a different category of ball player, and that's okay. That there's nothing wrong with that, because you can still be an asset to a team. You can still have a flourishing career in Major League Baseball you're just not going to be on the cover of MLB The Show anymore. It's like one of those things. Like, I get it, and he's still a good ball player, but definitely a little bit overrated. Let's see how he finishes it. There's still time for a career turnaround, but he's only 25 years old. But Guerrero Jr. is arguably a poster child for one of the most overrated. I can see why. But he's still a decent ball player. And there's like he said, there's still a piece. This guy's a little bit pessimistic in some pieces here as I'm reading. I'm only 2 in. But at the most, in all honesty, I was a little shocked at the MLB 24 cover with him, and seemed a little bit much, but he carries a lot of swag. He makes the game fun, but obviously the game gets fun when you're performing well and you're living up to that name. So again, this is another one where I can see both sides. But still a great career ball player, man. 260 in the big leagues is not horrible. Right now he's batting 287. He's only 13 off from 300. So there's still time to turn this around. There's still time to fix this. Oh, okay. So the next one, let me pull up the stats already because I know I'm going to want to look at them. And you guys can't see what I'm typing. But the next one is Matt Chapman of the Giants. Formerly the Athletics, formerly the Blue Jays, now the Giants. Now, let's see. Matt Chapman was electrifying to start his major league career. Yes, he was, posting a 278, 356, 508 slash line with 24 homers and 100 runs scored in his second season as a big leaguer. The following year, Chapman crushed 36 home runs, earning his first All-Star selection. Yes, he did. And recorded an 800 OPS for the second consecutive season. It's been years since we've seen that player. Good God. Across 1,182 at-bats from 2022 to 2024, Chapman has struck out 27.7% of the time with a 232, 320, 420 line and just 48 home runs. Wow. What makes it worse is Chapman is no longer one of the league's best defensive players. In fact, he's just above average defensively at the hot corner these days. I have to say he definitely cooled off, because when Matt Chapman was with the A's and there was that big thing where the A's didn't want to fly him to the All-Star game. I think that was in 22. Yeah. He was good, man. He was good. He was solid at third base. I think when he went to Toronto, things changed for sure. And then obviously this whole thing with Boris. And honestly, I was a little shocked that people weren't going to sign him just to a smaller contract early on, because he's still a good ball player, above average in the big leagues. Again, when you look in the macro, it's you can sell like, well, it's not that great, but at the same time, like above average in the major leagues is pretty good. I mean, are you the all-star you were in 22? No, but still good. There's some things you can work on, things to capitalize on if you're in the lull. Yes, but not the superstar. Let's see where Chapman's at right now. 246 at-bats, only 59 hits. So he's batting 240. He's got 8 home runs. So yeah, not the superstar. But then again, you can't always compare to that one breakout year, guys. And sometimes that label will fall. It won't be there forever. I think people are still hoping that he's that 2022 guy. Maybe he just had an electric year and it's going to be really hard for him to replicate. I don't know. But at the same time, not horrible. I mean, he's not a superstar. Not a superstar. If you're thinking he's a superstar, he's not. So I can see there. Again, another one I can see both ways. Paul Goldschmidt. Okay. Paul Goldschmidt's the next one. I believe that Paul Goldschmidt is 100% overrated. I have not seen him really do much of anything. And in fact, I think he was on one of the worst. I think he was up there like with Diaz of the Astros, because he was struggling so bad for a while. Yeah, he's at 229 for his career. But let's see what this guy's going to say. Ooh, father time came for Paul Goldschmidt quickly. Back in 2022, he won the National League MVP from the St. Louis Cardinals, thanks to a 317, 404, 578 line with 36 home runs, 115 RBIs, and 177 OPS plus. Goldschmidt's OBP 363 and OPS plus plummeted in 2023. In his age 36 season, I didn't know he was 36 years old. In his age 36 season, he's been even worse throughout his first 125 at-bats, batting only 208, 298, and 280. He's also hurting the Cardinals defensively now with a 0.1 Fangraphs wins above replacement through his first 35 games. St. Louis should be thankful they can move on after this season. Yeah, okay. So first of all, didn't know he was 36. He doesn't look 36. Guy looks good for his age. I had no idea he was 36. So yeah, father time definitely showed up. So in 2022, he had a great year. That's when he was 34. But yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, people still carry him. And yeah, you maybe want to be cautious when you're pitching to him. but he is nowhere near the threat he was a couple years ago, and that's for damn sure. And a lot of people are talking about it, been talking about it. He is dismal at most right now, guys. 245 at bats, only 56 hits, 7 home runs. He's batting 229 with a 656 OPS and an OBP of 305. So, not good. Not good. I didn't know he went to Texas State. That's crazy. But yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, not good. Pete Alonso, okay. I will stick over Pete Alonso to the end of time, man. I 100% believe that Pete Alonso is the wrong place at the wrong time with the Mets. He doesn't belong in New York. Okay, so like a few other players on our list, the most overrated players of 2024, Pete Alonso's career got off to a scorching hot start. He had one of the greatest rookie seasons ever with a record 53 home runs by a rookie in 2019. In 2021, he posted an 863 OPS with 37 homers and followed up with consecutive seasons of 40-plus home runs. He's a good ball player, man. However, Alonso's three-outcome approach has led to some worrying numbers as of late. Since 2023 All-Star break, the New York Mets slugger has batted 218, 316, 481 slash line. Putting that in perspective, 48 qualified hitters have a higher OPS than Alonso since the second half of the 2023 season. In a contract year and amid the career worst season, Alonso is costing himself plenty of potential contract. Okay, this one I highly disagree with. Okay, so, Pete Alonso is a stud. He's still a stud, and he still shows those flashes. I think anyone playing in New York right now, for the Mets, anyone playing for the Mets at this exact moment, their stats shouldn't count. You look back at what happened last year because New York is a fucking mess right now. All of it, from the Cohen brothers, from management to what's going on in the clubhouse. The Mets are a fucking mess, dude. The Mets are an abomination of a ball club. They're poorly run, poorly managed. That's been evident multiple times. They cannot get it together. They continue to go on these skids of losses. So I think that playing in New York for the Mets right now will mess with your head more than anything in the world. And I don't think that should be reflected on Pete Alonso, because when you're going to work every day in a shitty environment over and over and over again, it's really hard to perform up to what you're best known for. Obviously, as a rookie, he went in there. I mean, you're electric. It's rookie jitters, whatever you want to call it. They go off. So, yeah, I get it. I mean, especially if you're going to compare him to those numbers, yeah, he's definitely not lived up to that hype. But at the same time, I don't hold any Mets player to their career numbers right now. That'd be stupid. I don't do that. So disagree with this one for sure, wholeheartedly. Some of the other ones I can see. This one, I think if Pete Alonso were to go play anywhere else, he would be just fine, honestly. Next, JT Realmuto, catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, I'm interested to read this one. Interested here. Oh, we got two Phillies next. I shouldn't have peeked. Okay, JT Realmuto is another example of father time catching up to a player. He's earned his last All-Star selection in 2021, but the Philadelphia Phillies catcher was still named an all MLB first team and nabbed a Gold Glove in 2022. No one has seen that player since. Across his last 605 at-bats since the 2023 season, Realmuto has only hit 253, 311, 448. With that slash line is very troubling, as he is now graded one of the worst catchers in baseball defensively. So I did read that his defense had taken a down, a turn down, or whatever you want to call it, a left turn, whatever. I don't know how old he is, but let's see what he's hitting. JT Real. Okay, because for a while he was rated one of the best catchers in baseball, and like that was about 2020, 2021, 2022. I remember people had them on their list of top catchers in baseball. I mean, let's see where he's at defensively. I'm curious. So right now, and he's been in the league since 2014. So he's been here for almost 10 years, or 10 years. Let's see. Fielding percentage. Okay, here it is. 996, guys. I think that's a reach, brother. That is a reach if I've ever seen one, my dude. 993. He's at a 994 career fielding average, and you're going to sit here and say this man is nowhere to be found? Disagree highly, bro. Disagree, man. Look at this. 982, 993, 991. He is a career. He's gotten 1,000 fielding percentage 1, 2, 3, 4 times in his career. and has not dropped below. I think his worst year was in 2022 at the 8.57, because 2023 he had a 9.98, an almost 1,000 fielding percentage. Come on, bro. And then this year so far he's at a 9.96 with a career of 9.94. Bro, that's one of the worst catchers in baseball. I can find plenty worse. I don't agree with that one at all. So JT Realmuto does not belong on the list. This is another one. As I'm going through, I'm disagreeing more and more. So let's see what we got here. We got Aaron Nola for the Phillies, obviously starting pitcher. Let's see. Philadelphia Phillies re-signed Aaron Nola this offseason to a 7-year deal worth $172 million, hoping their former ace would rebound after posting a 4.46 ERA in 2023. Agree. Did not show up last year. Was surprised they signed him for this big a deal. But I figured off year, just didn't have it last postseason, what have you. Unfortunately for Philadelphia, the deal seemed to like an overpay. I did think it was a bit much for how he performed in 2023. I will say that. And it's so different now. Nola is still responsible for a pedestrian 4.03 whip since 2021, and his strikeout rate hasn't cracked 26% in the last 2 seasons with a 1.15 whip over the last 2 seasons and a K to walk ratio below 16%. This certainly feels like a contract they're going to regret. Little dramatic. I think that's a little bit of a a reach, in my opinion, at least. Let's see. So right now he has a 2.77 ERA, 8-2, 2.77, 84 innings pitched. Reach again, another reach. I do not agree. 2.77. Yeah, 4.46 ERA was high. He also had a 4.63 in 2021. So he's about a career 230 to 440 ish career. Like his career is a 3.67, which is good. It's not bad. But he's got some fours in here. Like in 2016, he's got a 4.78. 2021, he had a 4.63. Last year, he had a 4.46, which is that was his career high. No, 2016 was his career high at 4.78. But right now, 277, I don't think that they're regretting that contract at all. 277 is pretty elite in Major League Baseball. So, again, had a bad year last year. I agree. But this year, not the same pitcher. I disagree with that one as well. So, we got 2 disagreements. And it's not even because I like the Phillies. I do think the Phillies are a good ball club. But JT Realmuto, as I just went through his stats, it's not overrated. He's very much a great defensive catcher. And Aaron Nola is not overrated because he's got a 2.77 ERA. So, that's pretty fucking good. Okay, now this one got something in my eyeball. Oy. Okay, now this one, Craig Kimbrell. I've already talked about Craig Kimbrell, and I'm sure I'm going to agree here. But I don't think he's overrated. I think he's properly rated. I just don't think he's very good right now. Craig Kimbrell is one of the best closers of his era. I was like, era. He's one of the 8 players with 400 plus career saves. I agree. He's one of the great. He's a legend. And he'll certainly retire as at least 4th on the time for the all-time saves. Yes, that with that knowledge, this version to Kimbrell, who had a 1.91 ERA from 2010 to 2018, then a 2.26 and 9.05 WHIP in 2021 is long gone. Yeah, I think everyone in baseball will agree with that statement. Kimbrell is still a fairly effective closer, sub-4 ERA over the last 3 seasons, but his WHIP is now hovering over 1.3 during that stretch, with his command worsening. That I agree. All this to say he's no longer lights out like he used to be. Now that I'm not even going to look at his stats because I've done a deep dive on him and I expect him to be traded before the trade deadline. But at the same time, no, this Craig Kimbrell is not the Craig Kimbrell that broke into the league, the release to Kimbrell in Atlanta. We are looking at a different pitcher all the way around from repertoire to everything. He is not the same guy. Obviously, right? He's been in the league for years now, almost 14 years since 2010, since that breakout year. So, I mean, it's normal. It's normal that we're not going to get the same guy who's electric, who's got crazy movement, who's throwing 100 miles an hour, this guy now sits 95 to 97, has really, I think he's got a lot of command issues, but at times he can be effectively wild. But Craig Kimbrell is definitely, God, my eyeball, is definitely on his way out of the league. And I think we've known that for a couple years now. But yeah, I agree here, guys. But I don't think do I agree that he's not as effective as he was back in the day? Absolutely, I do. My freaking eyeball, dude. But at the same time, I don't think anyone's rating him very high right now. I think that he's one of those guys that's going to be an all-time great. He's going to be in the record books, obviously up there with the most saves. But to say that he's overrated, I think is a little bit of an overstatement because I don't think anyone's overrating Craig Kimbrell right now, especially with how he's been playing. How many more we got here? Okay, we've only got a couple more. Okay, so right now we've got Jazz Chisholm. Now this is another one I have to agree with. I tell you what, we're only going to do out of these next three. We're going to kind of speed through these, and I'll just give definitions on the last three. But this is what kind of sparked the whole conversation. Was people were saying that Jazz Chisholm is on the All-Star ballots this year, but he is why? Honestly, and let me be honest with you. When he was on the cover of MLB The Show last year, I was very shocked. I was like, why? Who is this guy? And like, why is he on the cover of MLB The Show? He's like, what? So let's see what it says. Jazz Chisholm is a classic example of a player whose style and personality overshadow his production. Absolutely. He earned an All-Star selection, 22 of 14 home runs, for 12 steals, and 860 OPS, and 213 at-bats. In the last 2 years, however, Chisholm has produced a 246, 308, 438 line with a 102 OPS plus, making him league average. Yeah, seriously. It's perfectly fine to be league average starter, but Jazz Chisholm has seen anything other than All-Star. Yeah, no, he's not an All-Star. And we've known this. Just by looking at the man play, you can watch him play. You're like, yeah, you're not no. Right now, a little bit slightly above his career average. I think he is at his career average. Average is 246 right now. He's batting 249. So a little bit above average. Batted 250 last year. Not horrible, but dude, honestly, you're just league average. 250 batting average over your career. That's all I got to say about that. Jazz Chisholm is not an all-star. He's not an elite player in baseball. He is average with a massive fucking personality and a lot of bling and shiny things. That's Jazz Chisholm. Next is Alex Bregman. I will talk about Alex Bregman a little bit. I don't think Alex Bregman is that bad. I don't think he's overrated because there's been some times where Bregman can come in very clutch, and that alone counts for a lot, especially in the eyes of coaches and management. This year he's batting 236 in a career contract year. Do I think the Astros are going to keep him? I think they're going to make him an offer, but I don't think he stays. And a lot of people are thinking that everyone classifies him as a superstar. I don't think anyone's ever classified Alex Bregman as a superstar, though he's batting 272 as a career. He's a career 200 hitter. His best year so far was in 2019 when they won that World Series. I'm sorry, I don't think they won it in 2019. No, that was the Nationals. Sorry, 2019. I meant 27. I was thinking about 2017, but he batted 296, which is pretty damn good for the year. And then hasn't really sniffed it since. 262 last year, 259 the year before, 270 in 2021. 242 in 2020. So a career almost 300 hitter. Overrated? No, I think he's properly rated. I don't think anyone's out here saying Alex Bregman is the next coming of Bryce Harper or anything. But I think I agree. I disagree. He's properly rated, decent ball player. Is he worth 300 million plus? No, but he's a good ball player. Chris Bryant. I'm not even going to talk about Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant hasn't been relevant in years, and I don't think anyone's overrating him either. I think if you want to say he was overrated, he should have done it when he got traded years ago. But since he's been in Colorado, no one remembers Chris fucking Bryant. No one cares. He's gone. I don't know. And the last one on this list is Marcus Stroman. Now, let's see what Marcus Stroman is on here for. I'll read all this one because I'm a Yankee fan. I'm curious. All right. Marcus Stroman wanted to pitch for the New York Yankees so badly that they didn't have to make much of a financial commitment to him. $37 million over 2 years. He has made it known that he wants to pitch in New York, right? While he has been healthy, Stroman's first 8 starts are much worse than his 3.80 ERA would indicate. He ranks 69th in WHIP, third lowest in FWAR among other qualified starting pitchers, and he ranks 69 in K to walk ratio. Meanwhile, 80.1% left on base rate is well above his career norms, likely meaning that his ERA will rise soon. Yeah, so if you're getting a lot of guys on base and getting out of it, that doesn't always last. So if you're letting a lot of guys on bases, that will come to a head. So we'll see. I don't think he's overrated. I think that he is pitching in some tight situations. Obviously, not the elite guy we saw last year in Chicago. That was a career defining year for him. Obviously, he had a great year. But at the same time, I don't think he's overrated. I think we know what we got with Stroman. I didn't think we expected, Cole-like numbers. I don't think we expected him to do anything like Luis Gil's doing right now. We weren't expecting that. As a Yankee fan, as someone who follows the franchise, we were not expecting that. I thought it was a good fit. I thought he was a good piece to add into the rotation as like your 3, 4, 5 guy. I never expected him to come in and be an ace. That was never, the staff belongs to Cole. And that was obvious because even when they signed Stroman, Cole wasn't even hurt yet. So To say that he's overrated, I think is a little bit of a stretch. I don't think he's overrated. I think that he's properly rated. I think that Yankee fans and baseball fans alike will agree that most people knew what they were getting with Stroman as they went into this year. He wasn't the 1-2. He wasn't. He was maybe a 3, but in reality, he's a 4-5 starter. And he works himself into some situations, but has worked out. That I do agree with. That won't last because if you keep putting people on bases and you keep getting out of it, those days won't always happen. So you're going to start giving up some hits, start giving up some runs. So that I agree with. I agree with you there. But to say he's overrated, no, I knew what we were getting going into the year, and I'm sure a lot of other people did too. So, all right, guys. So let me know what you think about this list. This is on sportsnaut.com. If you want to go read it, you go check it out. Shout out to these guys. Like I said, I'm all about, debating, talking baseball. That's what makes this fun. If you have guys you think are overrated, please drop them in the comments and let's talk, man. I'm surprised I didn't see Harper on here because most times when people think about overrated ball players, Harper's the first person in the conversation. But overall, I agree with quite a few of these. There's a few I just didn't quite understand. I think guys that were, and I think that if the case was guys who signed big contracts who haven't lived up to that, or guys who are, had a lot of hype at the beginning of their careers and didn't live up to it, that's a different kind of story. Overrated, I think, is a little bit different. So, but all in all, I'd say I agree with about 85% of this list. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, like I said, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with this list? Do you think there's other guys that were left off? Do you have any snubs that were left off the All-Star list? Like I said, because this is all coming to a head from the All-Star voting and people doing that. People are snubbed, people are overrated, yada, yada, yada. So let me know what you guys think. But thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode, and we will catch you then.